No, you. Nope. To be on TV again. Oh, look, Mom on TV. I'm on TV, Ma. Um, why are UVA ultraviolet americano? What is that? Camera sources required. But it's not allowing me to use my camera. Hmm. Are we daft? TikTok? Hmm. One more time for 25 minutes. I am trying to go live one more time for 25 minutes. But you're blocking me from doing so. Ah, they're too high. Too high. I set them low. Goof ass. You're so steamed. I mean, I could. Live like those. Pull one of the fucking. Pull one of these right here. Flip. Love you too, Astro. Did I go potty? No, because I don't need to go. A raid? A raid from Soulless Policy? Oh way. That's crazy. Well, hello. welcome in, I suppose. Suppose I should get started, huh? How's it going, y'all? Appreciate you for the raid. I hope you've been well. You playing anything fun lately? Welcome into Late Night Lucky, which is where I do some like thunderstorm music. I do some lo-fi and what's it called? Thunderstorm music, do some lo-fi. I do some writing and stuff and or whatever. I'm currently fighting with another live channel. Is this words on screen? It is words on screen. Oh, that's right. You've been doing Sapphire. True. Hopefully you're taking care of yourself during the marathon. If you need to go, you know, dip and get food and drink and whatnot, please go do so. Take care of yourself. It's a lot of work. It's lots of work. So this is what I'm gonna do. How do I like put something on screen? Oh, like marathon the game? Oh, yeah, that's as equally exciting as a stream marathon. For sure. How's the extraction shooter treating you? Treating you well? Streamer, are you doing a full rewrite or is it one of those changing a few paragraphs? Am I holding the phone? I am currently holding the phone, yes. Helping you learn a lot? I'm happy for you. I'm glad it's working. I gotta answer your question. It's... I guess not really spoilers because I'm obviously writing this while on stream, right? But basically the concept of what I'm going for here is it's gonna be... Why is this not working? Basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be changing some lines of dialogue throughout the story for setting the seeds properly, and then plot events going to happen, and then we're going to do our rewrite. I don't know if that makes sense. It'll make sense when we get there though. Can I just like write a message in this hoe? No? It's not letting me. I just need to be live for 25 minutes and then I can fix everything. Hopefully. But yeah, so that's the plan. So let's get started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. That don't make you sense, streamer? I don't think it will until I get to that point. It's hard for me to explain exactly what I'm doing without spoiling some craziness until I do it. Does that make sense? Sounds good, Eon. Thank you. Let's go ahead and reread like the ending-ish of this chapter. Because this is a very long fucking chapter. Like the longest, I think, in the series. Augustine asked if we were good to go. Zipper rubbed his belly. Oh yeah, I'm all set. Right, because Jamie's gonna run a gauntlet. So can we get through this with the time we have allotted to us? Probably not. Okay, well, let's try anyways. Chapter 18, The Heart of Aegis. So how many words deep are we into this hoe? 69,619. Nice. Okay. I have some playroom. Okay. Well, it's reading time. For those of you that are new here, this is original work that I've done, and yeah, we'll be going through all of it. I can't change my title on the phone, it's not letting me. It's not letting me go live on the computer. It's not letting me change the title on my phone. I need to have another 25-minute stream, and then I'll change what I can when I get there. But because of the person who reported my account for selling products or whatever, and then false advertising, or not false advertising, but like misrepresenting or whatever the fuck it was, selling harmful products or something, when I had literally nothing for sale, my thing's been weird, even though I got my appeal okayed. Anyways, enough of that. I'm just going to be ignoring that shit. Yeah, so the Heart of Aegis. Vladimir looked at his conversation log with Jamie inside. A son of mine is really cutting it close. I hope he actually shows up. Rogden slid Vladimir a blood pack. No sense worrying about it now. Besides, Jamie always pulls through, doesn't he? But I expected him to be home no later than 3 days ago. I should have sent a search party. Those that I'd trust to send are preoccupied. His phone clicked as he locked it and pocketed it. Well, there ain't nothing I can say to stay a worried father's heart. Ogden walked towards the door. I'd like to go visit some of the stands before this event is over. Want to come with me? No, thank you, Rogden. Maybe before I leave for the day, if you're still willing. Aye, just say the word. Rogden took his leave. Vladimir let out a deep sigh as he unscrewed the cap on his blood bag. I wish you would not hide. We aren't children trying to avoid being caught by our parents. Red's giggle came from behind a window curtain. She slipped out from its cover, half naked. But it's so much more fun this way. Anyway, where'd you put my bottle, Vlad? It's right here. Vladimir reached into his suit jacket and produced an expensive-looking liquor. Perfect. I'm gonna need that for the upcoming matches. Red rushed over to grab it. Would even last you through the introductions? His voice was coy. Red's side-eye was dangerous. Would even last you? Red mocked Vladimir with a babyish voice. Worry about yourself and drink up. Vladimir looked at the packet with a distraught expression. I am not even the slightest bit peckish. Red put down the bottle and smiled deviously. Swinging her leg over Vladimir, she grabbed the blood packet from him. She sat on his lap and put some in her mouth. She pressed her lips to his and let the blood flow into his mouth. There. She wiped her lip. Quit you bitchin'. Red dismounted and waltzed over to the counter and grabbed her cloak and pants. After dressing herself, she winked at Vladimir. I'll catch you later. I've got some good seats and I don't want to miss out on what's next. Right. Thank you. Vladimir sat alone in the room for a few minutes before getting up. Chatter in the stadium was at an all-time high. People were excited to see what the last set of matches would bring. Lucky watched from the safety of the medical bay. Her company had left, but Stella had taken their place. Really cool, Lucky beamed at Stella. Stella could feel the warmth spreading across her ears, so she covered them. You were pretty awesome yourself, Stella smiled. Lucky scooched closer to the edge of the bed, closer to Stella. Yeah, we did good. Oh look, Augustine's on the screen. Oh, is on screen. Augustine stood proudly on his jumbotron. I hope you're comfortable, fight fans, because the next series of matches will be a gauntlet. As it stands, the Fool's Carol has only one fighter left, that being the one and only Jamie Jamison. And he is the only recorded Phoenix-ranked adventurer in Aegis, nigh, in all of the Central Continent. Council requested that his matches be fought in succession, with no breaks. What? That's crazy. Lucky winced as she shot up. Stella helped Lucky lay back down. Yeah, that seems pretty unfair. Augustine's voice droned on. So, lead off this gauntlet, we have the first of 3 fighters from the Marionette Mafia. His existence is something of an enigma. From what information we could gather, he spends most of his days in the cellar of the Marionette Mafia. But when he does come out, he manages to make an impact. Every quest has taken has been cleared with flying colors. From the west entrance, please welcome Zipper. A malnourished-looking man with pale skin stepped out into the light of the arena. His uneven horns, and scaly tail, and wings drew some questionable stares from the audience. Lazily rubbing his belly, he opened one eye, revealing its pink glare. His experimental body was hardly visible underneath his hoodie and sweatshorts. For some reason, he elected to not wear any shoes. And from the east side, a man who needs no introduction, it's time for the Heart of Aegis, Jamie Jamison. A thunderous roar erupted through the crowd, but no one appeared from the entrance. The cries of elation quickly fell to perplexed murmurs. Maybe he didn't hear me. Please welcome Jamie Jamison. Augustine waved his arms towards the entrance and made a ridiculous pose. Looking worriedly to Vladimir, he mouthed, "Where is he?" Vladimir vanished and reappeared beside Augustine. "May I?" "By all means, boss." Augustine handed Vladimir the mic. "Hello, everyone," Vladimir addressed the crowd. "Jamie was sent on a very important mission many days ago. However, it doesn't give him the right to be late. As per the tournament rules the council had recommended, I will be allowing Jamie 3 minutes to arrive and make himself known. That 3 minutes runs dry, and he hasn't made an appearance, will be disqualified. The victory will go to the zipper of the Marionette Mafia." Vladimir sighed and handed the microphone back to Augustine. I must have been cooking. The crowd booed, and some even shouted that they wanted to see Jamie fight. "I understand your worries, but we will still have..." Augustine looked at Vladimir and he held up his fingers. 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Let us be patient and see what happens. "He was on a quest. There's no way the extra 3 minutes will make a difference." "Yeah, this is a waste of money. I got tickets just to see Jamie fight." "Tell who the tourists are," Stella grumbled. Lucky nodded and looked at her phone. "Hainme, where are you?" Everyone's surprised, a rather tall man walked out of the eastern entrance, wore a top hat and a monocle. His cane was fancy, but he lacked any meaningful facial features. In fact, he seemed to be white as baked clay. "Is that Slade?" Vladimir stood up from his seat on his jumbotron. Only 50 seconds remain, fight fans, and how this mysterious individual has waltzed right onto the battlefield. Slade raised his right arm into the air. In his hand, he held a strange device with a phoenix-shaped button on it. Click. The device folded in on itself, and Slade bowed before taking his leave and back into the Fool's Carol prep area. People stood up to try and get a closer look at the strange action Slade performed. 30 seconds, Augustine called out. The device had disappeared, and in its place a small crack formed in the air. Fractures and mana split from the epicenter in every direction. 20 seconds, Augustine was pouring sweat. The fractures grew in size, revealing parts of a swirling nebula. 10 seconds. Horrifying warbling sound caused everyone to cover their ears as the space shattered completely, revealing a wormhole. 5 seconds. Dirt and dust flew frantically around the wormhole. 4. A shadowy figure approached the mouth of the portal. 3. Something massive was right behind it. 2. A shoe poked through the portal, revealing that whoever was on the other side was wearing dress pants. Augustine was practically eating his microphone as he screamed into it. 1. Jamie stepped through the portal. He looked terrible, but a grin sprawled across his mug. His right hand was the last thing to leave the wormhole as he pulled something massive from the other side. After taking a few more steps, the audience could see that he had been yanking on some kind of massive chain. It was attached to a makeshift sleigh of sorts. Magical propulsion devices were slapped on it haphazardly. Screams of fear and awe came from the onlookers as the contents of the sleigh came to view. Gargantuan teeth, scales, and even some monstrous heads were piled up on the transport device. "Dragons!" Augustine screeched. "Folks, it seems Jamie has been sent to a dungeon and has returned with highly sought-after materials." Jamie sighed and dropped the chain, rubbing his wrist. His eyes had dark circles underneath them. His green hair was disheveled. Bruises and burns covered his body, as did gashes in his suit. Vladimir jumped down to his son. "Don't you worry me like that again." "Okay." Don Gravy cleared his throat and jumped over to Augustine's jumbotron, causing it to dip before auto-correcting. Yeah. What the fuck was I doing? What a fucking asshole. Ooh, that's funny. Okay. Sorry, I wasn't expecting that. I forgot. Okay, I'm good. Don Gravy cleared his throat and jumped over to Augustine's jumbotron, causing it to dip before auto-correcting. Microphone. He held out his hand. Augustine handed Don Gravy the microphone. Sure. As an independent representative of the council, I'm hereby calling for a 30-minute recess. Enjoy the accommodations while you wait. Aura and Guy and him shot each other a look of all people. I looked this out of all people. Why would he do that? I'm not going to question his intentions right now. Vladimir grabbed Jamie and led him to the medical bay. Someone clean up all this, please. All this up, please. Vladimir shouted as he pointed to the monster remains. In the medical bay, Stella helped Lucky sit up, so she could properly greet Jamie upon his arrival. Lucky stared at the door, her tail smacked the bed and nearby medical equipment as they swished excitedly. Take a deep breath. Stella sat next to Lucky, on the edge of the bed. He's gonna be here any minute. Nodding vigorously, Lucky inhaled quicker, holding her breath as she watched the door. Quickly. Holding her breath as she watched the door slide open. Wincing, Lucky adjusted her posture so she could get a better look. Jamie! Lucky shouted upon seeing the seaweed-colored hair. Jamie's face lit up, but it quickly turned sour. Why are you in the medical bay? Are you okay? Pouting, Lucky folded her arms. Oh, hey, Lucky. It's nice to see you too, she said in a mocking tone. Got my ass beat. Why else would I be here? Jamie's expression softened and his shoulders relaxed. It's really good to see you. I thought about you the whole time I was gone. Lucky looked down at her blanket and blushed. Stella looked away. Can't believe I'm getting annoyed right now. Jealous is not a good look for me. Stella sighed and pulled out her phone. Lucky looked back at Jamie. Well, why didn't you text back? Or give any of us a call to let you know you're okay? Oh, that. Hold on. Jamie held up a finger and rummaged around in his pockets. Once finished, he produced broken bits of electronics in both hands. Sorry about that. I quite literally couldn't. Vladimir couldn't wait anymore. What the hell happened? Jamie took a seat on the bed next to Lucky's. Iliad came over to give him a checkup. It's so funny that I named this dude Iliad and then well, whatever. Anyways. Iliad. Honestly, now probably isn't the best time to get into it. I'd like to get everything written out and submit it properly, if that's okay, Pops. Vladimir raised an eyebrow. That's strange coming from you, but I'll respect it. At least explain why Slade had your only portal. Added his insurance that we meant it when we said we do right by them and their kin. Wasn't expecting them to be so willing to port me back here if I didn't make it in time. Again, story for another time. Jamie pulled away from Iliad as Iliad brushed against his ribs. Jamie, this is. Jamie cut Iliad off. Yeah, I got roughed up. I'm fine though. I fought with worse. Iliad snagged his wrist and gave him a cold look. Do not move. Jamie could feel Iliad's mana mixing with his own. What are you doing? Shh. Iliad pressed his fingers to his lips. Jamie felt his blood turn cold and then hot. His eyes grew heavier, but he remained conscious. Felt like Iliad's mana was probing him, searching for something. Finally, after a minute or so, Iliad released Jamie from his grasp. You're gonna want to get some of your staff who've been keeping Tara topped up in here. Jamie's gait isn't healthy. He needs an infusion I cannot provide. Vladimir pulled out his phone and texted rapidly. As a doctor, I could not recommend you fight in the Aegis Royale, but I know how you can be, so let's just deal with the immediate problems and get you back out there. Try and take a nap while we work on you. Jamie nodded and looked at Lucky. She seemed like she wanted to say something, but she remained silent. As soon as his head dropped into the pillow, he dozed off. His fingers twitched and painful expressions flashed across his face. Lucky reached over and gently placed her hand on his forearm, soothing his restless sleep. It wasn't long before Lucky joined him in slumber. As the intermission drew to a close, Jamie found his way to the prep area. Hey there, Tolly. Jamie grinned. Hi, Jamie. Thanks again for everything. She looked at him up and down, frowning. Are you okay? Everyone keeps asking me that. I'll be fine. Thanks for the concern, though. Where's the changing room at? Holly pointed to the side. You should put this on. He held out the experimental bodysuit. Jamie, can't. Jamie said plainly. Holly cocked her head. What? If I wear that thing, they'll probably wind up calling the match. Just say I tore or something, I don't know. Jamie shrugged and made his way to the changing room. Taking a look around, he lazily passed over most of the gear and items. This is such a pain. I just want to go home and watch some Anka with Lucky, then go to bed. Jamie yawned. Fumbling into a nearby locker. I think I felt more awake before the nap. Just the extra juice these guys gave me should hold for a bit. Jamie noticed a rather large package on a nearby table. For Jamie. Tag had Vladimir's handwriting. Smiling, Jamie carefully unsealed the package. Inside was a new dark blue suit, 2 chrominium rods, the number 31. After he finished changing into fresh clothes, he made his way over to the locker 313. Where's the frog cam? I didn't have time to set it up, I'm sorry. Next time. For real, for real. The lock made a satisfying shklip when he inserted the key into it. He paused for a bit, savoring the moment. Opening the locker, he felt a strange vibe from within, something he couldn't quite put a finger on. To his surprise, the only thing held within was a katana, chain hung from viicccii, whatever, that wrapped around the saya and the talisman. Jamie's frown gave away his thoughts on the present. He reached for it regardless. After pulling it out, he first examined the talisman. Seems like it's for sealing entities. Kinda hard to tell though. Definitely not from this era. Spun the weapon around, inspecting it. An envelope dropped from the locker. Jamie bent over to pick it. Carefully opening the envelope, he pulled out the letter and began reading it. My son, I'm sure you're already privy to this, but it's time I tell you the truth about who you are and where you came from. Jamie quickly closed the letter and shoved it back in the envelope. Pops, you should already know I don't need to know anything other than who raised me. Jamie went to throw away the letter away, but hesitated. Can't just throw it away if Pops wanted me to have it. He sighed again before reopening the letter. As you know, I found you washed ashore from the sea glass itself. Nothing more than a small raft to carry you. The sword was the only thing you had in your possession. I believe that you're real. Jamie threw the letter into the air. It caught wind and harmlessly floated to the ground. Maybe I'm not ready. Yet again, Jamie put the letter back into the envelope. Another time, though. He placed it carefully in the box and went to find himself a waist harness for his new weapon. A knock on the door caused him to spin around. He walked over to the door, attaching the weapon to his harness. Shk. The door slid open, and Tolly stood there awkwardly. Sorry to bother you, but they called for the fighters to enter the center of the ring. Alrighty then, thank you, Tolly. Jamie grinned at her. One last time before walking past her. Oh, and Tolly? Yes? I'm glad that you and Chuck are doing well. I'm proud of what you two are doing for yourselves and agents. He gave her a thumbs up. Jamie stepped into the light of the sun. It was a ferocious heat. The Aegis hadn't felt what seemed like forever. The ground shook as the crowd erupted from his presence. Jamie easily tuned them out. His focus was on Zipper. I could tell that Augustine was talking about something. Just couldn't quite make it out. An eerie calm befell him. He was in the zone. Zipper nodded. Jamie raised an eyebrow at Zipper in return. He nodding for it. Augustine asked if we were good to go. Zipper rubbed his belly. Oh yeah, I'm all set, Jamie said. Augustine yelled into his microphone that for the final set of matches on the final day, may Calamity watch over you as you fight in his name. Okay. Zipper wasted no time in getting to the action. A disgusting blob of green acid hurled from his mouth towards Jamie. Like all foes before him, shock took hold as Jamie disappeared from view and reappeared behind him, jamming the tip of his elbow towards the base of Zipper's head. Jamie aimed to finish this fight quickly. He still had more matches after all. Zipper pounced up from the ground and flew high up into the air. Thought you said you were fast, but you didn't mention you were that quick. He stayed what felt like a safe distance in the air away from Jamie. Jamie sighed and pulled his weapon from its harness. Zipper readied themselves for an attack, but Jamie simply sat down cross-legged on the arena ground, leaning the weapon against his shoulder. Zipper waved his arms around. What are you doing? Jamie yawned. I don't feel like chasing someone like you. I don't feel that chasing someone like you around is worth my time right now. I'll just wait until you do something stupid. Jamie closed his eyes. Oh, wow, fight fans. Jamie has blatantly disrespected Zipper, and it looks like he's even going to take a nap. A vein on Zipper's forehead threatened to burst through his skin. I'll have you know that... Ah! Jamie appeared in front of Zipper and dug the tip of his saya into Zipper's throat, quickly following the surprise attack up with a spinning kick to the jaw. Zipper shot towards the crowd, causing Terra's shields to go up, but before Zipper had a chance to collide, Jamie appeared again, dropping his heel on Zipper's back, spiking him into the ground below. Jamie popped back into view next to Zipper, used his foot to roll him over. Zipper seemed to be choking. Jamie bent over, fished around his mouth for a piece of debris that was blocking his airway. Gross. Jamie tossed the rock to the side. Augustine got the go-ahead to call the fight as the medical team rushed out to treat Zipper. Jamie appeared at the center of the ring and sat down once more, closing his eyes. Augustine, he said sleepily. Yeah. After you introduce the next fighter, just assume I'm set to fight. Jamie mumbled and dozed off. Augustine looked at the council with a worried expression. Should we continue? Von Gravy, Ignis, and Vladimir all gave Augustine a thumbs up. Hainme and Oren, however, gave a thumbs down. Oren looked frustrated, but accepted the results all the same. Hainme seemed perplexed by Vladimir's decision more than anything. The council giving us their blessing, we will proceed to the next match. Augustine addressed the crowd. Up next is the second fighter belonging to the Marionette Mafia's gauntlet. Admittedly, our knowledge on this new adventure is quite limited. Ganyu and Hainme both vouch for her capabilities. Please welcome Emma Silverhand. The crowd's reaction was oddly dull. That was to be expected with an unknown fighter. Of course, Jamie was still asleep. Augustine paused for a moment. He said to just go ahead, but is he really going to be okay? Jamie's head leaned peacefully against his newly acquired breaker. Watching from the safety of the medical room, Lucky gripped Stella's arm as she watched Emma walk out of the arena. Something seems off about her. Familiar, but off. Emma's crimson twin tails flowed behind her as she proudly marched onward. Blue ribbons held her hair in place. Matching blue accents were scattered across her uniform. In each hand she held peculiar, oversized pistols. They didn't seem to have anywhere to insert ammunition into, and their muzzles were flat and rectangular. Is this my target? Emma looked up to Augustine. He's asleep. Disappointment dripped from her words. Augustine lowered the mic. Target? He's your opponent for the match, yes. I see. I'm ready to proceed. Emma got into a fighting stance. Both fighters are ready to begin. May Calamity watch over you as you fight in his name. Again. People leaned forward with worried expressions as Emma walked towards Jamie. Lightly snoring, he was completely unaware of the danger fast approaching. Come on, Jamie, get up. Lucky yelled at the team, causing Illy to jump. Bella placed her gentle hand on Lucky's shoulder. I know you're worried, but people are trying to rest in here. Biting her cheek, Lucky nodded and stared a hole into the TV. Never seen him like this. Usually he's tired, but he never takes cat naps in the midst of battle. Bella patted Lucky's head and offered her a spot to lay back down on. How about you just rest up for now? Stella asked. Lucky looked at Stella's thighs. Sure? I'm not gonna sleep. It's fine. Just relax, Stella said plainly. An explosion caught their attention once more. Emma had fired off some kind of pulse round or shockwave from one of her pistols, but she missed her mark. Jamie was no longer there, and instead he appeared behind her. Emma smiled, all within expectations. Suddenly, Jamie was standing where Emma had been, and Emmy took Jamie's place behind him. Hardly having time to register what was going on, Jamie was blasted forward into the sidewall of the arena by Emma's pistols. Bringing desync with me was the right call. Taking her eyes off of Jamie, she looked down at the brilliant breakers. Father's master craftsmanship always pulls through. What's up, Mr. Nothing? Welcome in, welcome. Enjoy your stay. What are you looking at? Jamie's voice reached her ears as his fist collided with the bottom of her chin. Emma's feet lifted off the ground from the force of Jamie's attack. Before she could retort, he jumped up and spun forward, dropping his heel, causing her to land face first into the ground. A nasty follow-up stomp came centimeters from her noggin. But once again, the fighters switched places. Crack! The impact sounded sickening as Emma's foot drove into the back of Jamie's head. Pissed, Jamie lifted her foot upwards using the strength of his neck to raise his head. Words came from his mouth, but she couldn't quite understand them. What was that, she asked? Jamie appeared behind her once more, and her foot fell forward, throwing her off balance. I'd tire of you. Irons gaze. Jamie's amber eyes gave off a sickening glow. Heavy. Emma fell to her knees. She could hear various sounds from the crowd as people passed out and others got sick. Even Augustine was puking from the safety of a shielded jumbotron. Emma tried swapping places with Jamie, but her eyes widened when she remained on the ground. What did you do? I don't particularly like this technique, but I've allowed my monitor to run rampant. No restrictions. Anyone in the area who lacks the required skill or power to fend it off goes through, well, this. Jamie looked around. Don Gravy seemed uncomfortable in his seat, but the other council members remained poised. Some of the fighters that had already had their bouts were affected at first, but quickly figured it out. While some of the others, like Twin Dime and the Kronf twins, reacted negatively, puking, having muscle spasms, and other unpleasant side effects. Emma's blue eyes began to glow, and the air around her grew thinner. I will not fall to some cheap parlor trick. Emma shot into the ground, sending her careening into the air. Her voice echoed through the arena. One born to flesh, another born to steel. In a universe as vast as it is cruel, Father found a devil in a deal. Witness our greatness strength, twin stars. Emma's eyes turned silver as she floated back down to the ring, her feet floating just barely above the surface. Vladimir sat up in his chair. She can redress? My boy, be careful. Gasp of relief overcame the crowd as Jamie's tyrant gaze released its hold on them. With blistering speed, Emma closed the distance between herself and Jamie. For the average onlooker, it appeared as though she had teleported. For those with a more trained eye, they could see that her mana was interacting with the air around her, allowing her to slip around at great speeds in unconventional ways. Jamie managed to deflect the gun pointed at him into a different direction. Shockwave screamed towards the crowd. Tara barely managed to shield it in time. Opting to keep the shields up instead of only raising them when needed, Tara signaled the personnel helping him. Gonna need a constant supply of mana. I hate to admit it, but those two are too fast for me to pop my barrier as needed. We just need to keep them up for the whole fight. Tara winced as a volley of shockwaves crashed into her shields. Jamie and Emma darted around the supersized arena, parrying each other's attacks and letting massive blasts of energy fly. Can't tell if he's speeding up or just adapting to my movements. Let's try attack pattern configuration number 2. That'll tell me what I need to know. Hi, Jackal. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Tuesday, governor. Having a nice relaxing stream. Emma began incorporating various attacks from awkward angles into her rhythm. But occasionally, she would swap places with Jamie in an effort to confuse and throw his rhythm off. Blow for blow, he matched her adjustments and sprinkled in some of his own. Jamie pulled on his sword handle, unsheathing the gifted blade, revealing its dark chrominium color. Various sigils were inscribed onto the blade, but it didn't seem to do anything special. Thanks for the headpads, Master Killer. Hope you've been doing well. However, Jamie used it much like he would have used his trusty baton, to channel his own mana through an attack. Moving through the shockwave, it dissipated behind him harmlessly. Well, damn. If I knew I could have done that, I would have done it a lot sooner. Turning from ear to ear, he taunted Emma. Well. It looks like your increase of speed just won't be enough. Clearly. I wish you hadn't forced my hand, but... My sister, I need your help, Anna. Her voice doubled over, like two people were speaking. The crowd oohed and awed as a semi-transparent body split from Emma. It looked exactly like her, except it still had what was her... I'm so good. Hold on. 25 minutes. Can I close this shit? I don't know. How long's it been? 38 minutes? We're chilling. Cool. Okay. Put this shit on the charger. Let me get a sip real quick. It looked exactly like her, except it still had what was previously her blue eyes. This is the true strength of the twin stars. When I fight with my sister, chances of success are 100%. And I floated next to Emma, silent and expressionless. I fought clones before, and entire groups of people. Is this all? Emma held her pistol to Anna's head and pulled the trigger, except when the shockwave was supposed to hit Anna, it collided with Jamie instead. Did you see that fight, fans? Emma could switch Anna's place with someone else. No, that's not quite right. Jamie's head banged as he collided with the walls once more. Blood trickled from his burst eardrum. A smile had been permanently etched onto his face. They're good. Really good. Fun, you gave me the best present I could ever ask for. Finally, I can let loose a little. Jamie disappeared from view and reappeared next to Anna. This time, his position was swapped with Emma's, putting the sisters next to each other again. However, as he went to move, they once again swapped spots, putting Jamie beside Emma. What the fuck? Kabloom! Jamie disappeared, avoiding the blast. After appearing a safe distance away from the two, he grunted as he realized that Anna positioned herself in front of the shockwave. Right before swapping, Jamie lifted his sword. Or swapping. Jamie lifted his sword and began to cut the air in front of him. Anticipating the swap, he took Anna's place and cut through the shockwave. Without stopping, he continued cleaving at the air. Swap after swap, he managed to splice the shockwaves. Augustine's heart raced as he tried to keep up with the fight. I've never seen anything like this fight, fans. I've watched as warriors raced around the arena, adapted to their enemies, but this is ridiculous. I can hardly comprehend what I'm seeing. Vladimir signaled to Tara. Tara gave a slight opening in the barrier between Augustine and Vladimir. Once wide enough, Vladimir jumped over to Augustine's Jumbotron. Tara closed the gaps in the barrier once more. Allow me. Vladimir extended his hand. Augustine gulped. But sir, this is what you're paying me for. Vladimir shook his head. Need not worry. Not worry. Skilled adventurers are struggling to keep up. I cannot expect a civilian to do so. Besides, I paid you commentate adventurers fight out to recount the tale of legend brawling. You're right. I'm sorry, but please take over from me. Augustine reluctantly handed over the microphone. By the time Vladimir took the mic and began commentating, a new problem had reared its head. No longer were the fighters content with their high-speed bout of shockwaves and swapping. No. Now deadly spikes of ice, pillars of flame, and other elemental attacks flung haphazardly across the arena. Jamie had grown used to the position swapping and started incorporating what seemed like wild, directionless attacks into his movements, but they kept specific lanes of escape or swaps in track, allowing him to close the distance little by little. Gotcha. Jamie launched a volley of icicles towards Anna, and another set slower towards Emma. Even with their newfound incredible speed, it would be impossible to dodge. Jamie pointed out his finger and began charging his fingertip. Forcefully ripped from his location, he found himself in Anna's place, icicles screeching towards him. With an enthusiastic look, his voice echoed through the arena. Halo trigger. Swapped once more back to his original spot to take the brunt of his own special attack. He pushed even more mana into his follow-up. Halo trigger. He pointed his attack towards Emma. The blast screeched from his finger and quickly was on pace with his previous attack. Emma looked worriedly at his sister. She's too far from me. I can't fuse with her again. Take this blast and swap her with him one last time. Emma blinked as she swapped Jamie with Anna. When her eyes reopened, she watched in horror as Jamie appeared in front of Anna, and after the swap, he was behind her. Wait, no. The sisters were met with simultaneous knockouts from Jamie's signature spell. Jamie appeared behind each of them in quick succession to grab them before they collided with the arena walls. Once more he disappeared and reappeared in the center of the ring, gently laying the sisters next to each other. As the medics ran out, Anna phased away from reality. Her mana flowed back into Emma. An eruption from the crowd made it hard for Emma to hear Jamie, but she could see his pleased face. Be proud. You are the pinnacle of strength. Jamie stepped aside so that the personnel could do their job. A few medics looked him over and offered him some food and drink while he waited. Dried blood was plastered on his chin from his ears, and he could feel that all the work Iliad had done to patch him up had been undone. Body's screaming at me, but I haven't felt this good in a long time. Every fiber of Jamie's being was vibrating with excitement. Ganyu's next. He really did wait for me. Jamie looked expectantly at the western entrance. Augustine began to get the crowd ready for the final fight. Jamie's voice boomed through the air. Ganyu Brightheart, Guild Master of the Fool... of the Fool's Carol. Excuse me. Marionettes. Guild Master of the Marionette Mafia. I've waited for this moment for too long. Come and face me. Jamie gasped for air and grabbed at his ribs. Vision blurred, but he never took his eyes from the entrance. One step. A single step is all it took for the air to instantly change within the arena. Ganyu's presence was immediate and demanding of attention. Glowing eyes of amber peered from the shadows of the entrance before Ganyu emerged in the ring. Unlike any of the ones that came before him, a roar from the crowd so mighty that it was rumored to be heard from Aegis shook the ring. With each step Ganyu took, Jamie's heart quickened. The swift and deliberate mind of Aegis's finest evolved into a singular thought. Finally. As Ganyu reached the center of the ring, he fastened knuckle dusters to his hands. Jamie basked in the moment. The feeling of his mana and Ganyu's simply fighting for space was exhilarating. Sweat dripped from his cheek and fell through the air, slowly making its way toward the ground. Augustine watched as Vladimir said nothing. The crowd silenced and lasered in on the two fighters. Everyone held their breath, imagining the kind of fight they would see next. Jamie leaned his head back to take a deep breath. Dropping his gaze to Ganyu once more, he drew his sword. Don't let me down, Ganyu Brightheart. Ganyu smiled. I wouldn't dream of it, Jamie Jamison. As if calamity willed it themselves, the two fighters lunged at each other without a word from Augustine or Vladimir. Clang! Jamie's blade met Ganyu's aura-infused chrominium knuckles. The quick exchange between them ended with a stream of lightning erupting from Ganyu's fist. The bolt blasted into one of Terra's tiles and on their barrier, exploding it on impact. Jamie wasn't the only one shocked by this. Lucky, Team Decima, and Vladimir all bore panicked expressions upon witnessing the raw destructive power that Ganyu displayed. Terra's barrier went back up, but the ensuing onslaught left Terra pouring mana out like they had never had to before. It's not safe here, Terra yelled over the clapping booms of lightning. I can't hold this for long, we might need to evacuate. Jamie disappeared and reappeared erratically around the arena. Ganyu's eyes flashed over and over as they rapidly swapped to Jamie's location time and time again. I was right about you. Jamie's voice came from multiple directions as he popped in and out of existence. You can glimpse into the future. Jamie's grin was maddening. Ganyu's fist narrowly missed Jamie. That's right. My all-sight allows me to feel and see all threats to my well-being ahead of time. Not surprised you figured it out. Jamie's spinning kick was aptly blocked by Ganyu's forearm. All that means is I need to be stronger and faster than what you can handle. You talk a lot. Ganyu's counterhook flew harmlessly through the air. You're exhausted. How long do you think you can keep slipping in and out of time like that? Oh, so you knew. Jamie reappeared several meters away. Yeah, it's odd. I just step into this white and black world and then come back. Ganyu looked at Jamie with furrowed eyebrows. You don't even know what it is or how it works? Jamie shrugged. I know that I can't attack, move, or do anything to people or things while I'm in that world. You've yet to understand the true nature of your abilities. Ganyu pressed Jamie. His fingers brushed against his collar. Jamie slipped away once more, popping in quite a ways away. His voice overlapped 16 times as he seemed to be circling Ganyu from different points all around the arena. Halo trigger! Jamie had released multiple blasts in near unison. Ganyu crossed his arms over his chest, then opened them wide. A sphere of blue lightning similar to Stella's emergency defense spawned from his gate all around him. A terrible noise emitted from the collision spells. People covered their ears, but Jamie brought his blade down to the field of lightning. I could slice through null magic, then surely I can cut through these sparks that are in my... way. His blade began slicing through the field. He miscalculated just how much mana Ganyu dumped into his defenses. The cut wasn't big enough, and Jamie got caught in its painful embrace. You could feel Ganyu's palm drive cleanly into his solar plexus. Jamie dropped his sword as he was sent backwards. But all that separates man and Aeon be gone. Terminus! Ganyu's voice reverberated. A blue chain formed between Ganyu and Jamie, pulling Jamie back towards Ganyu. Ugh, what the hell is this? Jamie grabbed at the chain. It felt warm, gave off similar energy to his mana and Ganyu's. I spent years perfecting my ultimate technique. Anyone chained to me is unable to utilize their magic or call upon their gate for mana. That goes for me too. Ganyu removed his knuckle dusters. I wasn't gifted like my brother or many. I didn't inherit the family technique, but I'd like to think that because of this, I was granted something greater through my own efforts. Ganyu stared at Jamie. You are a hard worker yourself, and with your natural gifts, you could surpass anyone in due time. But it's too early for you to surpass me. Ganyu wrapped his fingers around the chain and gave it a tug. Jamie flew forward. His face was introduced to Ganyu's fist. We will finish this match with our own hands and hearts, Jamie. Ganyu kneed Jamie in the nose, instantly breaking it. Rocked, Jamie stumbled backwards a few steps, but quickly raised his fists. I know that look. Vladimir sighed. He's enjoying this. Beatrix watched from the meeting hall on the 3rd floor with Carol and Cleo. I haven't seen that look in forever. Beatrix's voice was a mixture of pain and joy. Go get him, bro. Ganyu's eyes remained normal as Jamie weaved his left straight. Nasty liver shock connected. But Ganyu tensed up perfectly. It went well, Micah. Hopefully yours did as well. Softening the blow in his dense muscles. Jamie's combination attack caught Ganyu off guard, but he managed to mitigate any serious damage by moving forward to reduce the momentum of his strikes. Ganyu clinched Jamie and delivered a precise knee to his midsection. Somehow, Jamie managed to get his hooks into Ganyu, flipped him over his head with a suplex. The boys brawled for a full 3 minutes, exchanging blows that would cripple the average person for life. Bruised and battered, they began to huff and puff, without mana to strengthen their bodies or reduce the damage. The toll was being tallied and it needed to be paid. Blood obscured Jamie's right eye as it rushed from a cut on his eyebrow. I had a great time, Jamie panted. Ganyu nodded. Me too. I'm sorry I had to come to an end so soon. With a final tug on the chain, Ganyu ripped Jamie towards him. Jamie put him in a flying guillotine. Jamie pulled at Ganyu's grip, and get his fingers into the right position. His neck and spine agonized as his vision blurred. Can't lose. But Jamie could hear the muffled cries of the crowd, but all he could feel was his body getting heavier and more foreign. Images of a woman flashed through his brain. Enya. Why am I thinking about Enya? Jamie felt an ominous, nostalgic feeling. Wait, no. Not that. Not now. Burning up his veins and circuits, raged with mana once again. The chain between him and Ganyu severed. Wait, are you a... Ganyu pulled back and looked at Jamie's eyes in disbelief. Jamie's pupils narrowed, and the roots of his hair began to turn red. Phoenix? Ganyu quickly raised his hand into the air and called out to Augustine. I forfeit. Hurriedly, he grabbed Jamie, hugging him. Calm down, Jamie. It's over. There are too many eyes here for you to lose yourself. Ganyu's words reached Jamie. He could feel his body calm once more. His veins felt icy compared to the fiery sensation that crept over him moments before. Thank you, Ganyu. I appreciate you for stopping me. Jamie felt his consciousness fading until it all went black. Just as Augustine was about to announce the winner, Stella hobbled out from the eastern entrance with the help of Tali. Somebody help! They took Lucky. Alright. So... it's time... What am I reading? This is book 2 of my original series, Lucky Days. Yeah, not Lucky. Lucky got yoinked. Got absolutely fucking doinked, Rocket Pal. They're gone. They're taken. Alright. So we need to have a conversation now, chat. We left off essentially what was going to be the pseudo ending. Thank you, Micah. And I should probably like start mentally at the beginning with my thought process. So here's where I'm kind of at. My writing here wasn't bad, obviously. I think that at this time I wrote pretty good, but I've had a pretty large amount of growth, I think personally, from writing Lucky Days book 1 and book 2 until now. And while some people may not really catch on to it, I definitely will when I start the next one. So here's what I'm thinking. Here's kind of what I was thinking. There was a specific event that I was going to do at the start of the next book, and that event would lead to more or less a little bit of a redo, if you will. And what I was thinking originally was I need to rewrite book 1 and 2 because my writing skills have gotten better. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I can keep book 1 and 2 because they plant a lot of seeds for a lot of events, and I can have that really cool moment that I was just talking about still happen, and we can do the reset. And the reset is going to actually be, instead of resetting book 1 and 2, it's going to reset into something called Continuum. Basically, Lucky has been looping more or less for a bit, and we're going to see where Lucky becomes cognizant of this and is now able to try and change things. But the issue is going to be for the next part of the story, she's not the only one that is cognizant that they've been looping a little bit. She's going to be fighting against those people as well. We're not going to see multiple loops. This isn't going to be a loop story. That's not what we're trying to do here. It'll make sense. It'll make sense. I just need to do the thing. I need to do the thing. That's what it kind of comes down to. We need to write the thing. So Let's have let's have a moment. We need to essentially establish in this chapter. We need to do Eve. It's gonna be Eve versus quite likely most of them, yes. Buying time. Eve, it'll be Claude. Who else will it be? I also need to update the that's the shrine. I need the apostles. So we got Eve. Buck will have to be there. Ophelia's gonna have to probably be there. Yeah. That moment of betrayal. Claude. I don't know why Rogden's in here twice. That's funny. Gonna be Puck and Eve. Buying time, basically. Puck. Eve versus fossils. Battle maids. Puck and Eve versus fossils. Aegis versus where you at, fuckaroo? I know you're in here. On gravy. West continent and northern continent. Aegis versus west/north continents. I never fucking spell it right. Yeah, A-E-R. Okay. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This actually might have to be its own thing entirely. We're at what, 60? We're at 69,000. Yeah. Because I mean, this will take some time, and then I have Quincy, Miki, Burst Lucky. Be Unleashed. Quincy and Miki Burst Lucky. So, okay, so this is what we're gonna do. This is all gonna be next book. I think that's probably for the best. Let's go here, shit. Let's go here. Do blank document. LXD. 3 draft. Okay. DX is 3 draft. We should be able to start Lucky Days 3 on... Let me look at my schedule real quick. Not gonna be today. Did you well? We'll have a little bit of writing tomorrow. I don't know if we'll have anything on Thursday. With the guarantee of tomorrow's, possibly some on Saturday or Friday, depending on what happens there. Realistically, assuming everything remains as is, we'll be able to start the third book probably in 3 or 4 late night lucky streams. Then we can finish this. So we do lucky Stella versus Quad and Quad. Well, this book place in a fancy university. It's in like a fantasy world mixed with some modern elements. I could probably split the chapter there. This could be like epilogue. Be better. Epilogue. Is that right? Okay. I think that's probably okay for tonight. Yeah, that's probably fine for tonight. Interesting. I sure think so. I've been enjoying it. So let's do this. On the next one, we'll write the epilogue. Yeah, on the next one, we'll write the epilogue, and then probably the next 2, to be honest. And then we should probably really revisit more of the Skelly, but let's finish more of the Skelly now, and then go from there. So let's do this. All right, let's start at the top with the arcs and plot points. Let's delete all of this. Delete. Arcs and plot points. Do I have a sub-tab for this? No, because you'll be too easy. Let's start with Moonfall. Is this even in the right fucking... I guess it is in the right font. What the hell? Arial 14, Arial 17, Arial 17. I don't love this bullet point format, but that's okay. Moonfall starts with Lucky's birth from Lana. Puts her in for experimentation, acting as a parental guardian. Puck becomes increasingly uncomfortable. Experiments by Lucky's 500. Birthday, Puck is reassigned and no longer is a caretaker. Human here feels calls his loyalty question. Eve is gifted the lucky distraction slash eat the busy for her 1000th birthday. Lucky grows more and more curious about her folk, their stories. This program to prepare for Lucky is actually to tabs on her for women. Stories. Eve and Lucky grow closer. Friends ignoring you don't know why. You give them space. I mean, I think if anybody's not responding to, it's probably best to just like, if you've already tried reaching out to them, it's probably best to give them a little bit of space. And if they're being, I don't know, malicious about it, then maybe it's something worth thinking about. Probably not the best person to ask, honestly. I tend to be pretty quick to recognize. I tend to be pretty quick on the whole, like, I'll check into somebody, make sure they're okay, and if they don't communicate if they're okay or not, or they don't want to talk or not, then I'm like, oh, I see how it is. And then I just kind of like go about my life. Oh, I'm very much the type of person where if like somebody's going to be playing on my emotions or like choosing not to communicate, especially when I've communicated how I am or whatever, that I'm very quick to be like, okay, well, GG's, go next. I don't know. Not that I'll stop talking to them altogether necessarily, but there's like a switch that flips in me where I'm like, ah, I see how it is. Kind of don't fuck with me like that, do you? And then I just let them live their lives. Even Lucky grow closer. I just fuck off. I wouldn't take the word of any streamer, including me, on interpersonal advice. just a heads up. It's probably not for the best. Even Lucky grow closer, causing Eve's programming to fail. Begins to feel sisterhood. Eve makes secret trips. Earth, grab, random stuff, stories. Lucky. Experiments get more brutal. Lucky's power grows easily by her 5,000. People begun like her, treat her as though some kind of astral too. Her name is submitted to the celestial crowning selection. The air is livid. Livid. the new competition. The luckies. And he sneaks her down. Earth. Lucky assumes form silver-haired Taco girl with pink. Bada bum bum bada bum 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 bada 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 bum. Let's see something. RQ. I need something. I need freeloader. Bum bum bum. What is it? Alma. A poster that had a striking resemblance to her. I didn't detail exactly what it was. This is one of the things I needed to fix. Characters, cat-like ears. Smiled. Knuckles. Silver hair. Hey honey, sorry you're hungry. But I think that'll be enough. Silver apple girl with pink red eyes. She evidently finds herself amidst helping some locals. Gives name. He was severely punished. Finds out about the outing. He was junked and repurposed to the new model. Have a good night, Micah. Thank you for swinging by. Black with blonde hair. More monotone, motionless. Here, lots. Get be exiled. This results in Lucky being framed for a crime she did not commit. An important figurehead of a celestial drowning selection, like, or not orientation, ordination? Coronation? I can't even think of the word right now. Anyways, there are plots to get excited. He is last. Blasted. That is one. That is one. Moonfall, and then we have, I'm not gonna detail, Amy's Welcome / Fool's Carol. Not gonna detail this right now, because I mean, duh. We're gonna do like just like and then it would be bada bum 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 bada bum 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 bum. What else do we got? We got what the hoodoo? Aegis Royal. Spark, friends, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's probably fun. Aegis Royale. After the Aegis Royale, we have the mini arc of the minis. So we got Moonfall, we got Amy's Welcome to Fool's Carol, Aegis Royale, and then we have final, I don't know what the fuck they call it right now. Let's call it the final path for now, it's fine. And then C, and then we have in quotes non-canon. Yeah, Digitopia. And then we have Moonfall. Moonfall gets skipped, actually. So here we would have Reunion. Continue. Got that right? Sure didn't. Continue. Am I W? Am I fucking tripping? I like double U, the letter, like 2 U's. Continue. Yes. Tim? Is it continuum? Continuum. Yeah. There's no I though. I'm stupid. Continuum. And then we have Union / Aegis rekindled. And then we have Fossils Victory. Then we have 2 Ponzillion. Okay. And then it is there. Okay. So JB welcomes to Full Carol. Just call it Alex D Volume 1. Call this Alex D Volume 2. Call this LXD Volume 3, kinda. Utopia Volume 1 through 3. Not bad. Not writing this shit out right now. LXD. Probably gonna go with a different name to Continuum, but that's okay. Kidnapped. Quad. Australia. This leads to a chase. During this. Forces from the guild. That's not right. Is it? Operations north. And I think it's west. Back. Aegis. Battle maids. I'm lucky. But their surprise to There's two cats! And there's 2 other apostle members too. There's only 1 Mousekebit. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Well, that's Mouseki VT as in VTuber. Hope you enjoy your stay. We're wrapping up Late Night Lucky for the night here shortly, but we're doing a little bit of plotting for the next book that I've been writing. Hope you enjoy the music and stuff. To this rise, 2 other apostle members. Alright, to stop kidnapping. The various fights between Aegis and outsiders. Hainme goes after Lucky. It seems you so. Calamity event. Hainme and Lucky versus Lehman here. Calamity event. Oh, last. Reunion / Aegis rekindled. Lucky awakens style with her memories back from her last group. Awakens as she on Earth. The last loop. Excitedly. Welcome back, Lunatics. She excitedly rushes to find Hainme. Okay. I think that's probably it for me for the night. I can update more of this another time. Oh my goodness gracious. you all so much for coming out tonight. I had a really good time. Hi there, Mousegivit. Thank you for following. I know you must have been in the ads when I was yapping at you. I'm sorry. I appreciate you for coming out. We're just doing some late night lucky. I play some music and some thunderstorms, or I should say it's wrapping up now. I do some writing and stuff. Tomorrow we'll be doing mouse. I dig mouse. Do you have the mouse tile? That's the real question. Thanks for the head pats. Tomorrow's Wednesday, my goobs. So we'll be doing Pokemon Yellow Legacy, and then we'll be ending the night here on Late Night Lucky. I know, Mouse, I'm sorry. But if you want, we do yap in the Discord a lot. So if you wanna come say hi, and it hates me so much. Why? Well, it's there too. If you want to swing by and hang out with us and get updated for when we go live next, which is like every day, 8 p.m. EST, you're obviously more than welcome to. Sorry you got robbed. It'd be like that sometimes. But I must go tomorrow, early day. But I hope you all have a lovely night. Thank you so much for coming out to Late Night Lucky. Again, tomorrow we'll be doing the Pokemon Yellow Legacy Nuzlocke, and then we'll end the night on Late Night Lucky. And it will be fire. It will be sick as heck. We'll probably freaking do some more outlining tomorrow of the Skelly, and maybe get some writing in. We'll do a little bit of both. We gotta update the Skelly. That's my point. So we'll probably do like Skelly and writing, so we're not just doing the Skelly the whole time. Try to break it up so it's more enjoyable. Also by YouTube. But yeah, y'all have a lovely night, and I'll talk soon. I'll miss you. Bye.